Yes, I knew that we were in the process of doing that.
That was hilarious.
I had to have work too.
You guys, creatures of habit.
All right.
Exactly.
Andrew, you ready for a roll call?
Rick Gunyon,
Present.
Krista Stillwell,
Present.
Josh Hewitts, Mike Reeder,
Present.
Mike Kelly.
Present. You were provided a list of the claims and
Minutes.
there are no late claims today, I don't believe, are there? Everything.
Yes, actually there was. It was August and September aerator electric for the lagoons. Let me go grab the claim real quick. You skipped over minutes. I'll go grab the
Oh,
claim.
okay. We'll get the minutes when you get the. Okay, corrections or additions to the minutes. Anyone? If
I'll
not, a
move.
motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second the motion.
Motion Mike and second Rick. Now we're ready for roll call whenever you are.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Public participation,
None there.
none. Safety minute, who's got that today? Anybody? Safety minute? Actually, probably the safety minute has come from Shane, and it was in an email today about cybersecurity. He's unable to be here today because he's in a conference about some things with technology and cybersecurity. And I think so. He's going to be bringing that back to us from the meeting and sharing it also, I think, with the city people as to what's expected as far as cybersecurity and that kind of thing. So we'll give him credit for a safety minute today, even though he's not here. He shared that in an email with everyone, and I think you have an opportunity to read that. Andrew, auditor's report.
Pretty much business as usual. August has been reconciled and starting work on September.
Any questions for Andrew? Karen is on vacation, and she did shared a email with us about changing some things that they've changed, and they ran into a little problems, but they're getting help from the company. You got something on that?
Yeah, actually, it's with, it was set up to where people can make their payments over the phone without talking to anyone, and ran into a snag, but I did receive an email today on when they're going to fix that. Gosh, darn here. I can't find it right now, Mike, but it's I think it's this week that they're going to be fixing that error for us so that it's all taken care of, and it just takes another step out and makes it much more secure. This was a module in our Tyler software that we had that we were not utilizing, and we found that we had it, got everything set up, and then with us, of course, the way it happens, there was a snag on it, but we're getting closer to getting it ready to go.
Since Phil's next, you want to do Phil while Phil's unable to be here tonight?
Yeah. From the electric side, they finished up a pole line rebuild at 1000 East and 600 South. And they jumped over and have another pole line in the 2000 block of West Green Street that they're working on. It's in the back part of the area. This one here, he wrote down yesterday, we got a call that a squirrel got into a fuse out behind NHK, and the sparks came down from the fuse and started a grass fire. So our guy got called out there. They had to put the fire out then, and so that he could get up or get around the pole and get the fuse changed. So yeah, the little critters cause all kinds of problems. And then they will be working with Duke, or Phil and Robert will, and our guys. Duke Energy is getting ready to change some poles out on Kelly Road and Prairie Avenue. So our guys, were underbuilt on those, so our guys will have to be out there working with them as well. And that's supposed to get started, I think he said next week. Yeah, next week. And we are sending Wednesday and Thursday 2 guys from the electric to a 2-day workshop at IMPA. It is for underground repair, locating and underground repairs. And the first day is all indoors educational. Well, it's all educational. And then they go down to Greenfield the next day to actually do hands-on work, where they know where they have to find the faults and stuff, and then figure out how they're going to fix it. And of course, with us, with the new subdivision, stuff like that, we get more and more underground, and we just don't have a lot of experience on locating it. You know, we'll just pull it out and do all that type of work and then replace it. But a lot of it, if it's long runs and stuff, we could be able to get in and actually do the repairs and do it that way. So we got a couple guys going down there Wednesday and Thursday this week. And that's from Phil.
Okay.
Todd, when our employees go to a learning event like that, does that get recorded in their personnel file?
Normally they get some sort of a certificate and stuff, Rick, that yes, we will put in their personnel files when we get them.
Okay, thank you.
It's kind of like a continuing education type thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to have those credits logged for their licensing. and
No,
stuff,
they
don't
don't.
Oh,
Not
they
on
don't?
this, they don't.
Okay.
No. But it's a free workshop, so, and it's a 2-day or so. We take advantage of them when we can, and this is a pretty good one for us.
Shane is all, like we said, is out of town today and tomorrow, I believe. But he is working diligently with ACCS, I believe, on changing the way the mail is operated. Is that right, Mark? Is that going on?
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but I think we're switching to a different mail service, I believe. And yeah, we're helping with it.
Gonna do the water from back there, or you want to come up here? He's Shane's replacement tonight.
Same haircut. For water, on maintenance, we had 1 main break repair, 3 service renewals, 5 service repairs. 1 was on the company Pink Lady Boring. And then we had 6 new service installations. 4 of those were caused by the same boring company. Actually resulted in us having to do a 2-inch water line out front off of Kiger and run services into the home. They hit the water line that fed those houses in the alley off of Kiger and Given. They actually hit it 3 times, and so it's an old iron service. It was old, so we decided to move that out front, get it out of the alley. There's nothing out front in the alley. You have AT&T, gas, sewer, and water was all in a pretty small area, so we left the area and are working to get everything hooked up out front, away from everybody. The company that did that was Huger Edison. They did a great job. And then the Waterworks is doing the taps, the pits, and the services going into the home. We actually are going into the home with these because they didn't ask for their water line to be changed. So we're just doing that out of a courtesy. Jason and I have also been in contact with Matt Osler. They're finally getting the 8-inch water main for the Habitat Humanity expansion going. It's located off of North John Street. That was a project, I believe it first started about 6 years ago, and it's finally moving. In the meter shop, collectively through the waterworks, we replaced 277 meters in the month of September. Again, it's still an ongoing project, getting these new meters in. Pump room is running good. Everything's pretty normal as far as sampling goes. We did get a delivery of salt Friday, and then today as well, we ordered 50,000 pounds of, it's basically solar salt for our hypo building. Our last order was October of 2024. The north tank on that, on those salt tanks, there's a north and a south tank. The north tank still had quite a bit of salt in it. We probably were a quarter full there. The south tank was empty, so we wanted to get salt in it. It holds water before the cold weather comes, and we end up freezing the tank up. So now it's got salt in it, and we should be. I mean, we were a year on the last batch that was about 40,000 pounds, and we're at 50,000 pounds of salt coming in for this year. So once a year process, maybe a little longer. Pumpage for us for the month of September, our highest day was September 15th at 4,025,107 gallons. We averaged 3.5 million, just a little over. Our lowest day was 2.5 million. And just a comparison again, I like to keep putting these in here. Our highest day for September of 2022 was September 7th at 4.463 million. Average was 3.6 million. And our low day was 2.44 million. So staying very consistent with what it was 3 years ago, even as what we are now. Actually, our high day is lower. Update on the Armstrong project, which I got a couple things here for that. All the customers are on the new main, the new water main that was put in. Watson was to do a cut and cap today. We ran into a bit of an issue that has to do with how a cross was and not a T, and how the fittings worked. So the waterworks maintenance crew is going to be out there with Watson tomorrow looking at a solution to that problem for that cut and cap. It doesn't really affect anything right now. Again, everybody's on the new main, so it's kind of a smaller issue, but needs to be taken care of while we're there. And then they are looking to tie in Harrison at the middle of this week, which would complete everything for that project as far as infrastructure goes. The rest would be just restoration. With that being said, substantial completion for Watson was September 14th. We are obviously well past that date, and I have a change order here that I got from Andrew actually today, that would need to be signed, agreeing to give Watson more time. Now we're already 2 weeks, 3 weeks past that, so I'm assuming that we are going to give Watson more time.
More, is that more time, not more money, or
More time. 30.
Okay.
They're asking for 30 more days. Just before
From what date?
September 14th.
So essentially,
they have 8 more days.
they have 8 days.
They have
after
8
today.
days. Yes.
Okay.
Like I said, they'll be finishing up the tie-ins this week. So yes, it's 8 more days. Substantial completion would be 10/14/25, and final would be 10/29. When
Well,
everything.
with that being said, what's the reasoning for their delay? Because they were adamant that they could hit those target dates on substantial completion when we had the meeting.
They are claiming materials are some of the issue. That's what the email said when he's asking for it.
Okay.
I'm not opposed to accommodating their request myself, but Mike, what do you think? I mean, I'm not sure what our options are.
Well, I mean,
no.
we don't have many options, but why did we wait 2 weeks after the fact to ask for more time? Or did you?
You don't know where the paperwork was, if it was them
Okay.
doing it, or if it was Andrew
Right.
Gordon
From
on his desk.
Westlands.
You don't know, yeah, you don't know
Okay.
where that's.
Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, not that.
And
Okay.
I believe that is there's multiple issues there.
Well, I would say we can give them the 30 days to that date, but if not, then we're going to hold their feet to the fire.
Right, and so this has it on here. There's actually another one for a pay application that needs to be signed by the board. Um, they all come together, I guess, but part of that is there is a retainage that is held on there, 10% for basically for seeding and restoration work. They always hold it until that is complete because obviously you're not going to get grass to grow right now.
So how much work do they have off of that pay application, that the money they're going to get? I'm not talking the seeding. I'm talking how much work do they have to do and what's the dollar amount for what's left?
So
For
the
the
balance right
extension.
here, what it's showing the balance right here is $157,000
On that claim?
on this claim. Yes,
Then what's the remainder leave after that claim?
that's the
paid?
remainder.
Okay.
The amount due would be $206,150.
Well, before I would recommend the board signing that, I want to make sure the work is completely done, other than we're going to hold the seeding money, but I want to make sure they don't walk out tomorrow once they get that pay and not finish what they've started to do.
Well, we still owe them $156. They're still got a claim. They're going to have a claim for $156,000. So they're going to walk out on $156,000.
Yeah, if they were to try to leave now, that 157 would be what is being held right now.
Is that just for seeding and stuff?
No, it's
No.
just a retainage altogether, but they do have, there's a 10% retainage that is for seeding and some of the restoration
But
work.
they've done all this work so far, and we haven't paid them a dime.
Right.
to this day.
I think
Correct.
that's what they requested too up front. With that being said, and we're holding that money, I don't have a problem making a motion that we sign that claim right there for Watson and give the extension.
If that's a motion, I'll make that second.
We have a motion and a second by Mike and Rick. Any other questions? Andrew, roll call, please.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye.
Just don't tell them not to come back for another one.
That's
Without
both
a
of them.
meeting.
That's the change order and
Okay.
then the pay app. I didn't leave my notes in there, did I, Andrew? I think I did. So also to bring up, Tim McKenzie has officially submitted his letter for retirement effective January 8th of 2026. Just to let the board know that. Kind of spoke to Todd. He has spoke to Todd too about what to do, and I think it's all just we're kind of waiting right now to see what it is that we want to do moving forward. But yeah, he has officially submitted his letter for retirement effective January 8th, 2026.
And how long has Tim been with utilities?
I was going to write that down. I actually looked it up and then I didn't write it down.
Okay.
I believe his hire date was in '94. I believe.
Okay.
There's only one signature place on that.
Long time.
You're
Yeah.
the water guy.
He's walked a lot of miles with me.
Yeah.
A lot
yeah.
of miles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Last thing I have is something to give to you guys regarding the maintenance barn. We're currently at 1257 McKinley Avenue. That maintenance barn originally was a storage shed for when they built what we called the West Plant, which now would be east of where we are. There on McKinley. This is it's got two quotes here because the third quote kind of didn't meet what we were asking, but there are two quotes here. I do have a third one. Looking to see about getting this building built using the remainder of our SRF funds, which we have $239,000 roughly in a SRF to spend. Right now with concrete on these quotes, if you want to look at them, one is from FBI Builders. It's $275,158. And I'll go into a little more detail on that. And then the other one from Haynes remodel is $273,829.62. What these would be, one is a 60 by 60 building that would be concreted. If we went with Haynes, that includes spray foam insulation for that building, interior walls, doors, getting that building built, and basically almost ready to go. There's a few things that we would have to finish out on the inside to our liking, and then obviously some utility work that would have to be done from the building to where it's at currently. Looking to have it placed there next to the Hypo building in that field out at 2105 West Armstrong.
I would recommend that information be given to our water representative. In the past, when we had pole buildings built for the sewage treatment plant and the the water maintenance facility downtown, we had a spec sheet. I'd like to see something like that.
I have those.
Detail, and I'd like for Mike to review that.
I think,
first.
have you been involved in it
I
all the
have.
way, Mike?
Oh,
Yes,
you've
I
been
have
involved in
been
it.
all the way on that.
Okay,
And
I
again-
couldn't tell from what Chase was saying.
Okay. Yeah, him and Todd, I've had a couple different meetings with him. I think with using the SRF funds, it's going to put all the buildings within his eyesight that he can control everything, and it'll be out at the waterworks right now.
So what would be the dispensation or the future use of the current McKinley Avenue property then? What would happen with that?
I'm assuming that it would go back to the city.
If we would have no use for it whatsoever. The building's in bad shape
It needs tons of repair.
or torn down.
Does anybody ask the question, are we gonna tear it down for the city, or ask the city if they want us to tear it down, or ask us if we wanna pay for tearing it down?
I think
I don't like turnover buildings that are dilapidated. We already did that once with the city building. Gave it back to the city and it's in pretty bad shape, so.
I think currently, not to speak out of turn on that, I think currently we're looking to see where this was headed before we made a plan moving in that direction.
Well, I would like to see the spec sheet, and then it might make sense to take under advisement. You're not trying to break ground this fall, are you?
Absolutely.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Well,
Well, there is, from my understanding, the SRF funds have a deadline when interest becomes a massive monetary investment for us,
Right.
right? So,
Cost us.
yeah, so help me can you go over just real quick, briefly?
Yep.
Remind me the logistics of the interest and why now is the time to make sure those funds are spent.
So we have already, the SRF loan was taken out during the expansion of the plant when that happened under Chris Hensley. We are at the point where they are asking questions of, hey, are we going to get this spent down? What are we doing here? And to get a plan together. So I believe I had brought that up in another meeting about trying to get a plan together on what we would do with the remaining funds. The funds that are in there, if they do not get spent down, they accrue interest. That interest is not just on what is remaining of the balance. That interest is on when you would have to pay that back. That interest is on the total amount of the loan. So it's not just the $200,000 that you would be paying back. It would be on the total, and I forget what that number is. I had it wrote down. So trying to find a plan to go forward to get these funds spent down. I forget what that interest number is as well, but I don't think it's a low
I remember you mentioning like it's substantial.
It is substantial.
Yes.
and
Substantially more than what we would be spending here
Correct.
of the remaining loan funds.
And I remember going back perhaps 2 or 3 years, there was discussion on the board at that time to locate a new maintenance building at your water
This is
pumping station.
following up that plan.
So that makes a lot of sense to me. You got the land, you have to access. Do you need a parking lot expansion or anything like that, or you just build off the parking lot?
We would build off the drive, the current drive that comes in on the east side, and then come in there by what would be known as well 23.
So would it be behind the security fence and gate, or would it be in front of it?
It would be with it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
All right. Mike, what's your recommendation?
My recommendation is to have him move forward with both of those buildings with Haynes Construction and get these funds spent down so we're not penalized, and we're going to put both of our buildings, the main building and the warehouse building.
Correct. So
that
one,
property.
and that's, I didn't get to that, but the 60 by 60 is the main building that it would be
Right.
insulated, heated. There would be an office in there. It also has doors so that any diesel equipment could fit inside in a heated building. And then off 30 foot between the two would be the start of another 60 by 100 building, which gets everything inside. Currently, we're sitting with a lot of equipment sitting outside. It gets weathered. We really are to the point of running out of space.
You'll get your hydrants and all your pipe and
Hydrants,
stuff
all
inside.
the fittings, all of that would be inside, yes.
Well, I would like to see the specs. I'm curious
Absolutely.
on things like if there's a provision for floor drains, so if you have a wash bay, electric service, ventilation, stuff like that. So there's a lot of detail in a building like that. Now, Haynes, have we used them before?
I don't think we've used them before. They built the building out at the fairgrounds, and I'm trying to think. I went and looked at another one. I can't remember exactly where it was at that they had built there. They did one of the two buildings at the fairgrounds.
I do remember though, there was some issue with the fairground situation, and that's why FBI had to come in at the last minute and complete that second building. So
because they asked for two buildings
Yeah.
in a short amount of time.
Yes.
So they didn't give him enough time to build
Okay.
both buildings, so that's why FBI had to come in.
It actually was from a state design release.
Got
That's what held that
Yeah,
up.
okay. Yeah, obviously I wasn't a part of that project, I just remember hearing through the grapevine. And we believe that he has the capacity and everything to get this done in the timeline that you guys are wanting, with no potential delays going into winter, delaying this through the spring, anything like that.
I would assume that it is all, if groundbreaking happens and we get everything going, I have all the documents ready to go and submit to SRF. Once that is submitted with a plan to have that money spent down, then we are moving in the right direction. But currently, we are sitting with that money, not doing anything. There's no
Sure.
plan for it or anything.
Yep.
I have all the documentation together to submit to them. I did not submit anything to them or to Alicia. I think I spoke to Alicia at another meeting about some of the things that we would have to go through with, the state makes you go through
Yep.
a checklist of things. If we have a plan going forward, I think they're okay with if it does get into spring before
Okay.
the actual start of the building happens, but we've got to get groundwork done
Yep.
to get the pad set to be able to go. And that's what I would like to get broke this fall,
Yep.
if possible.
Yep.
I would assume the buildings actually would be erected next spring.
Are you making a motion?
I will make the motion that we move forward with the buildings from Haynes.
I'd like to ask, given that motion, could you agree to change that subject to board adjustments of the specs? In other words, I'd like to see the board members see the actual specs for what we're talking about. And if we find there's not a drain in the floor, there's not sufficient electrical service, we could make those modifications. I'm not
Sure.
opposed to your motion, but I
Sure.
want to have some board interaction on what we're actually spending this SR money for.
Okay.
I don't like to spend money sight unseen, so.
Okay. That motion will include that.
I'll second that motion.
All right, we have a motion, a second, and that's kind of like a modified motion with some criteria for, we can proceed with the action, but there's a caveat in there that we want to look at it a little closer before the final thing is done.
Well, he can, like you're saying, he could get the ball rolling
Yes.
with SRF
Yes.
and everything, and then,
Yes.
these are just rough estimates.
Right.
And we can get down to the specifics, as Rick is saying, to make sure that we have this advance, and that,
Yeah.
Yep.
that's.
Yeah.
more
So
than-
hearing that, we'll have a vote on the motion.
Rick Gunion,
Aye.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. Thank you, Chase, for
Yeah.
putting that all together.
Yep.
So,
That's-
And if you could probably get those specs to us before the next meeting, then we'll,
Yeah, I'll get with Cam. I'm sure there is a design that he'll have to show all the spec of the building, and then we'll move forward from there. I can email them to Mike,
And then
or
I
whoever
can,
needs them.
if you want to email them, just mail them to the whole board.
Okay.
okay, great.
Thanks, Chase.
Thank you.
Thank you. For reference, you mentioned Kiger and Gibbon. You're one of our utility departments that most of your infrastructure is buried out of sight, out of mind. So my family owned a house there at Kiger and Gibbon for many years, and in the foresight of our forefathers, I find this kind of interesting. When they ran water to those houses between Gibbon and Clay Street along Kiger, they ran it down the alley to the rear, and there were 6 houses served with Frankfort water, and they went ahead in 1918. They went ahead and put in a 3/4 inch iron pipe to serve 6 houses. And when I put in my garage 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that was down to a little less than 3/8 of an inch due to corrosion and being clogged up. So those people should have better water service now that they've got a 2-inch feed off of our supply line down in Kiger. So
Yes, they
good,
should.
good job. So, but much of your infrastructure is that old and older. So
One of the things, Chase mentioned that it was Pink Lady, boring. For all this work that's been done, Pink Lady's getting a bill as well for all the work that we had to do to switch
Oh,
things
certainly.
around as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that you guys understood that.
Yeah.
There has been a lot of work done, but it's not on us at this point.
yeah, okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Chase. Thank you.
let's hear some wastewater.
Well, you're not going to hear a lot because of the number of employees that have been off. But we were able to tear down both boilers, inspect them, clean them, put them back together. We did the quarterly chlorinating of filters, which is about a half-day process a piece. The maintenance guys helped with that. The maintenance guys also helped us move the biosolids inside to get them out of the weather. We're hopefully going to start spreading this week, waiting on test results. Other than that, we had 3 sewer calls, and they were all on the property owner. That's all I got.
So you got ground you can spread on right now that
I got plenty, yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
harvested though?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
ready to go. He didn't have his pH samples. They're expired. So I have to wait on him to redo them, or we probably would be going this evening. So
Okay.
hopefully sometime this week he'll have what he needs and we can put a plan together. But I gotta wait on that, so.
Perfect.
All right, Rick, anything from the lagoons today?
Nothing to report. I would request that Todd, could you please set a schedule or a meeting time for you and I to talk about ADA compliance out at the lagoons? We've talked about that. We've talked about doing that twice. We haven't done it.
Probably be easier, Rick, for you to check your schedule, and then, or if you want to set it one day this week or next week after. Well, next week I'm gonna be out a couple days. At 4 o'clock or 3:30, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with.
I'm not aware of any urgency, so let's tentatively plan on the week after next, since you're going to be out a couple days next
Okay.
week. I'm busy this week. And just go ahead and send me an email, anything 3:30 or after, any day of the week, and we'll make it happen, okay?
You want to, we have a meeting on 10/20. You want to do it about 3:15 on 10/20? And then we can come into the meeting?
Who has a meeting?
We do?
We do. Yeah, we'll be doing headshots that day too.
Oh, yeah, I forgot
as a
about
reminder. Yeah.
What time's that?
Department heads included.
I don't know what the list looks
We're gonna
like.
start about
How
2:30.
many things are on the list?
It'll only take us
that. I
about an
don't
hour.
know. I could get you I can just get you a copy and drop it off to you and let you see it, and then we can sit down and talk to them, talk
Okay,
about it.
why don't you do this? Why don't you email me a copy if you would,
Okay.
please? I don't deal with paperwork very well. I can lose paperwork faster than anybody I've ever found. So if you email me a copy so I can get familiar with the list, and
Okay.
we will do it on 10/20 at 3:30.
Okay.
We'll get the two of you pushed to the front of the line for headshots. How's that sound?
How about the last? What time they
We're gonna
start?
start about 2:30 just to make sure we have
Oh,
enough time to get them all
okay.
done.
All right.
When's it being done?
In here. She's gonna set up a backdrop.
Okay.
I
and,
forget how many things are on there, Rick. It's not terrible about the lagoons. Some of them was that maybe have to have bigger porta potties. It's stuff like that.
Okay, well, there are a number of things that potentially could be on the list I'm aware of, but I hesitate to mention them. There's no reason to go look for trouble.
Well, that overlooks one of them.
Yeah.
That we've done all that work on. That's one of them, and
Yeah.
things like that. So,
Okay.
Okay.
The other update to lagoons, we had talked several months ago about access control for the lagoons, and that is still the plan. But just for board information, we put that on the back burner due to the adjacent property having been, first of all, put on the market for sale and then sold. And so the next step is for Todd to have further discussion with the new owner of that property to the west and look into acquiring some of that ground near the entrance. So I'll just leave it at that. If you need my help, Todd, I'm happy to help. Or if you want to do that yourself, please go ahead.
Well, I know we have, before we can get an appraisal done, we have to get a survey done, Rick, for what that would be. So
Well, I don't know. Maybe you know, is the new property owner amicable to selling this?
absolutely. When I spoke to him, yes.
Okay. Well then, Alicia, could you inform us what the steps are to acquire, on friendly terms, not eminent domain, on
Yeah.
friendly terms, a property acquisition?
So what we need to do is we need to figure out what property we are purchasing. So that's what Todd alluded to with the survey. So we know exactly what we're wanting to buy, and then we would need to get an appraisal of that surveyed ground. We can only buy it for the maximum price of the average of 2 appraisals. So we need to get 2 different appraisals unless we believe that it's under a certain dollar amount. But I think that's really low, in which case we could just buy it without having to get those appraisals. I don't know how much land we're looking at, Todd.
It's not much. It's a area, what, PJ, about as big as this desk area right here, maybe a little bit bigger, and then a strip about 10 feet wide alongside the road. 10, 20 feet wide alongside the road.
Okay. I'll have to double check what the statute says, but my recollection off the top of my head is that it might be $1,000. If it's less than $1,000, then we can just buy it without getting appraisals. But I have to double check.
I'm going to suggest it's probably more than 1,000.
1,000.
And the reason I suggest that is if we look at the only survey information or geographic information available to me is on Beacon. Yeah, thank you, Krista. On Beacon, we have an opportunity to square off the property that we, the city owns, rather, not we, because there's a large rectangle that seems to be dating back, predating the lagoons being located there. And it might make sense, rather than chop this up more, just to acquire that property so it squares off the border, if you will, of what the city has going straight back.
Right.
And if we did that, it's a larger area, but it has more utility. It makes more sense long term for our needs. So that's why I say it's probably more than $1,000. And I want to be fair to the property owner. I don't want to feel like we're coming in and taking advantage of him or her in any way. So maybe the appraisal route would be preferable.
So once we get the survey, then we need to do a resolution that says that we're interested in acquiring the property.
Okay.
And then that will authorize the surveys and then, or the appraisals, I'm sorry. And then once we get the two appraisals and we've got a purchase price, we would do a purchase agreement with the homeowner, and then we would set up a closing.
And Todd, if you could, I don't know who you're going to contact for the survey work. If you could get that work quoted in two alternative means. One would be surveying the property we would like to acquire. The second would be doing that, but going ahead and doing a survey of the entire lagoon property, which I don't think's been done, for future reference. And again, I don't want to incur on any adjoining property owners. Having a survey would help us make sure we don't do that down the road. And it may not, because of the nature of the survey work, you have to get a reference point established and get to the site. Once you do that, it may not be much more money just to go ahead and do the whole thing, as opposed to doing a small chunk of it.
Well, for instance, it's, normally when they abandon a railroad, half goes here, half goes here. Well, for some reason, this particular property went all the way to almost to the road of the lagoons, and they didn't split it. And I know down further, another property owner comes into play.
Yes.
So,
okay.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, very good. So that's the update, more of a discussion on lagoons than an update, but, and I will update the local authorities with regard to the access control discussion we had back in May, and let them know why there's been some delay on that aspect. I'll let them know we're still working toward that end. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Rick. General Manager?
Here's that letter that everybody signed and set up there for a week and a half, and didn't realize I had to sign it, so I was the last one to sign it. Give that to Mike, please. But it's done and taken care of for the when people are having their conversations and everything. The other day, Rick put out an email and about wanting to have some discussion points today, and it just so happened one of them came up about the pension plan, where we're at. And just a few days before he sent out that email, I had an update, and right now at the close of business of 9/24, the pension plan is sitting at $6,324,809. It's an increase of $56,000 or $576,944, or 10.04% so far this year. And when we turned it over to Baird to do the investment, we turned it over on 11/26 of 2018. And at that point in time, the value of it was $2,606,973. So that's how much of an increase there has been. No, I'm sorry. The plan has made $2,606,000 since 2018. So it's really, really doing well.
Most importantly, with the help of the city and the agreement we had there, we've corrected the prior problems that got that pension plan in, I'll use the phrase, dire straits, although that's also my favorite band. And then now it's much more of a value that would do us well for our pensioners. And it used to be that it was a real problem being so low.
Yes.
And we've recovered from that quite nicely. So that's the main point I think I would stress.
Yeah, well, and for Krista, we were on a state watch list for this pension plan, and they was looking to potentially, I mean, it was to the point of taking it over. And now with all the changes, and it's just not the changes that the city made, that this board made, but the employees also made changes. They sacrificed more to help this out. So it was a great joint venture. But our plan now has been proposed to other communities to try. We're being set or used as an example in a good way to, this is how you turn things around and everybody work together. So it's been good, but that pension plan is very, very good at this point in time. Very good.
So, Chairman Kelly, who do we have as a board liaison to the pension topic? Do we have a member on the pension board or do we not?
I'm trying to remember.
I don't think we have any right now.
Hang on.
Do the bylaws afford us the
There were
opportunity?
two people.
There's two people and they get a half a vote between the two board members, the
Well, I think we
USB
need
board
two people
members.
then.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike Kelly and Krista Stillwell.
Yeah, I
Oh.
thought it.
There will be a meeting here in the next couple of weeks too.
Okay, good job, guys.
Yeah, but it's going really well. So. And then, as far as that other, as I mentioned, Rick's email, I have prepared or stuff prepared to discuss it during the work session on all the other topics as well. So we can go from there. Other than that, it's just staying busy and trying to keep up with things when I'm not ill. No, things are going well with everybody as usual, and just keep plugging and chugging, guys. Does anybody have any questions for me at this point?
Any other? Okay. Now we move to the claims, payroll, and transfers. What's the
So there's one for FMU paid by the Utility Service Board for the Lagoons aerators electric for August and September for $857.93. And then there's another one that I got for Watson, pay application 1, coming out of water construction for the $206,150.
Is that what I just signed here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And what is the reason the Lagoons Electric did not come in per the normal schedule? Why are we dealing with that separately?
I got the bill for October this morning. I got the September bill this morning, and there was last month's on there, and I realized that I did not get one submitted for September. So I went ahead and pushed both of them just to get paid, rather than.
So what's the reason for the bill not getting to us? I mean, we're our own customer here.
It did get to us. I missed the email in September, at the beginning of the month.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
We
Yes,
got paid late charge.
I completely, what?
He asked if we're paying a late fee.
I do not see a late fee on there. So,
Well, that's why I'm wondering
yes,
if we're our
I
own
missed the email.
customer and we're late
Correct.
in paying it, why?
Yes.
Okay.
I missed the email.
Mistakes happen.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Okay, we have the two additional claims, plus the claims that you have in front that you saw earlier. Is there a motion for approval of those claims?
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Roll call when you're ready.
Krista Stillwell,
Aye.
Rick Gunyon,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye. The only thing I had under unfinished business, thank you all for the presence at the Employee Appreciation Day. And I did get some feedback, and I believe the employees did appreciate what they had done for them that day. So a number of them said specifically thank you, and I know they did to some of you also. So I guess it's kind of an honor to be able to appreciate them, because we really don't know how hard they have to work sometimes to get the jobs done in dirt and terrible weather, complaining customers. I mean, and so this is the least we can do for them, and hopefully we can show appreciation again even before the end of the year.
And again, for historical reference, 20 years ago, some of us in the community were, I would use the word aggravated, that the utility board members at that time customarily took a 3-day all expense paid all expense paid trip to Washington DC to meet with elected officials from the state of Indiana every year. And the utility board at that time chose to do that. They didn't choose to have any employee appreciation celebrations for the employees as a whole. So back in 2005, several of the utility departments got together on their own and had their own mini appreciation dinner for water and for electric and so forth. So I think it's great that we're able now to put priorities where they are. Priorities are our employees, not us, going to Washington, D.C. I'm happy to spend that money to celebrate our employees. We have the right priority there. So.
And I know I personally would love to see us do it more often. So that will be something that hopefully I have the opportunity to champion next year.
Okay.
Party planner.
Yes, that's me.
Let's see, we're gonna put that on here too.
Oh, is that a new committee?
Under new business, talked about the pension plan. Most of these items would like to really just move those into the workshop area because it's just going to be discussion. And I think that's probably a more appropriate place to do that than actually during the active board meeting, even because we will not be making any decisions. We're just going to talk about options and ideas. So if there's nothing else before the board, I would ask for an adjournment of the board and going into the work session, a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
I didn't do it this time.
We'll do a roll call since it's go ahead.
Krista Stowell,
Aye.
Rick Gunion,
Aye.
Mike Reeder,
Aye.
Mike Kelly.
Aye.